What's going on, y'all? This is ESSO. Right now, you tuned into the Lifestyle Connoisseur. What's going on, y'all? This is ESSO, Harlem, New York City's own, absolutely. Anytime you above 110th on the Lenox side of things, above 96 on the east side of things, that's where I'm from. Harlem, stand the fuck up, please.
All right, so there's been a lot of discussion about this 2010 XXL freshman class cover.
Shout out to everybody on the cover, man. Donis is my dude, Pilla's my dude. I met Nipsey Hussle, J-Rock is a good dude, man. Like, I fucks with everyone that's on the cover. Do I think that I should have been on there? If I didn't think I should have been on there, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But that's no slight to anyone that did make it on the cover. Now, my role, if I'm not on there, is now I gotta make my year the Drake year, or the J. Cole year, where they weren't on the cover, but they had just as big of an impact, if not bigger than anyone else that was on it. That's what I have to make my aim now that I wasn't on it. But again, shouts to everyone on there, because I respect each and every person that's on it. Shouts to Big Sean, shouts to Freddie Gibbs, for Sean, everyone that's on there, man. Much respect to all of y'all.
I mean, even with you not being on there, what do you think of the lack of New York influence?
I'm not mad at it, cause really, yo, I think, like, as New York artists, we tend to be very arrogant about our hip-hop. We tend to think that everything stops and starts with us. It's actually probably a good thing that nobody from New York is on there right now, because now it gives us that underdog mentality that every other region has had for the last 10 or 15 years, that we have to work twice as hard just to be heard half as much. If we have that mentality and we work that hard, then how can we now win? But it's gonna take a bunch of people working that hard. It can't be just me or just Donnie or just Amelia or any of the people whose names you know. We all have to outwork ourselves to make sure that we get to that place that we wanna be. It's not on anybody but us. If I don't work that hard and I don't get there, I can only be mad at me. I can't be mad at y'all. Y'all are the fans. Y'all choose what y'all like. I just hope that I make music that y'all like and enjoy.
All right, so you recently did a remake of Color Me Bad, Sex You Up.
Yeah.
And then last year you had the Off the Wall project.
Yeah.
Are there any other classic records that you're gonna put your twist on?
You know what, like with the Sex You Up shit, that was something that kind of came up like very randomly. It was something that somebody that's a part of my team hit up my producer. I didn't even know about it until the day before we recorded it. They told me at like 4 in the morning, it was like, yo, we're going to the studio tomorrow and you need to have something written to this. So I sat at like 3 in the morning, I wrote my verses for it, and then we did it for Valentine's Day just to give something to the ladies. Like a lot of rappers don't cater to the women. I'm a nigga that caters to the women. I love y'all more than anything. Seriously, like, so I'm gonna make sure that I'll let y'all know how I feel about y'all. You know, like, and a lot of niggas get Valentine's Day fucked up, and they fuck up for 364 days out the year and think if they get it right for one day that they're good. But if I treat you right 364 days, that one day don't need to mean shit. And that was really like what that song was trying to say, like just showing how I would treat the person that I care about and whatnot and what have you. So as far as us doing any more classic records, I really can't even say, because, you know, we just do whatever we feel like doing when we feel like doing it. And that's the beauty of music at this point, is that you can be creative enough to take something and say, you know what, I think I can flip that and make that something that's now. And if you do it in the right way, then people will be receptive to it. And I'm glad that people were receptive to Off the Wall to the point where it got us on MTV Jams and MTV2 and MTVU. And I'm glad that people have been receptive to the Sex You Up song the way that they have, because when it comes down to it, that's the fun of music, is taking something like that and making it my own, you know?
So why'd you choose Anti-Socialite as the title for your upcoming album?
That came from after everything happened with the Off the Wall project and Michael Jackson dying. After that, at first, I kind of responded by ignoring everything that was going on and by just going out to try and not pay attention to things. So after I had been out for like 2 months in a row, almost every night, you know, being twisted every night and not necessarily remembering what happened the night before, I said, you know what, I need to fall back for a second. I need to be away from everything that people think is important, all of these events that people think are gonna make or break my career, anything that would make me a socialite. Now, like, if you look at the word socialite in a historical context, in the 40s and 50s and 30s and whatnot, the socialites were the people who were the benefactors of the artistic culture. Now we have socialites like Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie who are like not really doing anything for culture other than making us look stupid. So if that's what a socialite is, then I'm the opposite of that. I'm the antithesis of that. I'm the person that actually does stand for something. Now, if that makes me the anti-socialite, then so be it. But what I wanted to do through the project is show you what an anti-socialite thinks about, what his concerns are, what his life sounds like or looks like, what are the things that he finds to be important in his life, what are the things that drive him to do what he does. And I think if we can illustrate those things through the project, then we've done our job, and you'll have a better opportunity to know who I am, because this is really who I am, aside from, you know, the glamour and glitz and all of that shit.
So how did the involvement with Def Jam Rap Star come about?
They actually just hit me up, and it was a commercial for the video game. They said, yo, we want you to be a part of it, and I was down for it. It's not like I'm not signed to Def Jam. We're not going to like make any sort of false proclaimments that I'm signed somewhere that I'm not signed. I don't even know if proclaimments is a word, and if it's not, that's okay. But I'm not signed to Def Jam by any means, not as of yet or anything like that. So it was just something that they were doing with the video game, and they wanted to have some of the up-and-coming rappers that they felt like were important and relevant to represent their game and their brand. And when they reached out to me to do it, I was more than happy to do it.
So Harlem has a rich, eclectic musical history, but where do you feel that you fit in? You know, do you feel you fit in? Do you feel like you're carving your own lane? Where's your place in Harlem's musical history and their legacy?
I would like to place myself probably somewhere between like Count Basie, Duke Ellington, and Big L. You know what I mean? Like where see, Harlem has a very dualistic history. On one side you have the Harlem Renaissance, on the other side you have the 80s and, you know, the drug culture of the Rich Porters, the AZs, and the Alpos. Now me, I grew up kind of somewhere in the middle of that, where I used to go to the Schomburg Museum when I was growing up. Like, I was born in St. Luke's Hospital on 114th and Amsterdam Avenue. I was born in Harlem, I was raised in Harlem. I've lived in Harlem my whole life other than going to school. So no matter what I do, Harlem is going to be an influence in that, because that's what raised me. Now, whether I sound like Dipset or I sound like Cam or I sound like Jim, maybe that's not my place. They're on one side of it, I walk in the middle of that shit. And you know, like, all of those dudes are my people. Shout outs to Duke the God, that's my dude. But I wanted to do something that's very personal to me, that's something that I can own. And I think that as long as I walk my own road through what Harlem has made me, then I'm always going to be truthful to that. And no one can ever take that away from me, because when it comes down to it, besides the 5 years that I was away in school, that's where I've lived my whole life. So you can never take away the fact that I'm from Harlem or that I'm from New York, no matter what my music sounds like.
So what can we expect from ESSO in 2010?
2010 is mine, bitch. You can't even buy it back. Fast food spitters, ask them if they want some fries with that. Like, so many people start off years by saying this year is mine or whatever, and they just want to make it sound good. I had a pretty good year last year in terms of getting in XXL and getting in MTV and all of that, but I still look at it as if I still have a long way to go. I'm always super critical of myself, and I'm probably the most laid back and humble person in my whole camp. A lot of people get gassed off of small accomplishments. If I'm aiming for a Grammy, then how can I be happy by just getting one magazine look? I know what it is that I want. 2010 is going to be the year that we establish the foundation for that working in the regular industry society. So far, we've been working outside of that in terms of doing things on our own and being independent. This is the year that we lay that foundation in terms of being a force to be reckoned with in the music industry as you probably know it right now. Because we don't know it the way that you know it right now, but we're going to be there to fuck with you very soon. I promise you. So just make sure that you're ready when we're there, because we're going to do us, regardless of whatever y'all think.